Greetings, terrestrials! Today is May 27th, 2021, and these are some strange times indeed. You're watching Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McAllister. I, of course, am your host, Cliff McAllister, the czar of the bizarre. Every Thursday night, we come right here to twitch.tv/medcomedynight, and we open the phone lines to hear about your experiences with the unexplained. Whatever it may be, cryptids, ghosts, extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings, we gather here every Thursday night to hear about the unknown, the deep recesses of our own universe, the things we can't quite explain but lurk there in the corners and in the shadows. We gather to share those stories every week on this program, and I've been looking in the chat, and we've already got folks lining up to share their stories tonight on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McAllister. But before we get to that, top stories tonight. Top stories. We've been covering it very closely this past year. It's been a really, to some degree, a cosmic continuance of events. The way that we have been following these things. Let's look at the timeline, folks. Let's take things back to July. I get a message from our friend of the show, Sparky. He says, I've got this book that would be very interesting to you. Invisible Residence by Ivan T. Sanderson. A book written 50 years ago that chronicles the possibilities that UFOs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, are coming from beneath our seas. Then come January, we get closer and closer to UFO disclosure, and a theory pops up claiming that the NOAA has knowledge of an advanced undersea species. So we say, well, let's look deeper into both of these. And now, as we are getting little glimpses at the upcoming disclosure reports on what the Department of Defense knows about unidentified flying objects, the term transmedium objects has started to be thrown around. This meaning objects capable of going both underwater and above water. It is getting closer and closer, my friends, to knowing the truth. But you, the viewer of Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McAllister, have been ahead of the curve on the truth. You've known this information for months because we cover it right here before it happens. And now it is happening before us. History sure does repeat itself going forward in some strange ways, my friends. And these, of course, are some strange times indeed. And how could things get any stranger than the possibility of a fifth force of nature? That's right. Earth, wind, air, and fire. Earth, wind, water, fire, earth, whatever they are. There's a new force of nature in town, baby. A fifth force of nature. This news coming from astronomy.com. Okay, let's get the website to scroll up. Here we go. In recent years, a group of Hungarian scientists have made headlines with a bold claim. They say they've discovered a new particle dubbed X17 that requires the existence of a fifth force of nature. The researchers weren't looking for a new particle, though. Instead, it popped up as an anomaly in their detector back in 2015, while they were searching for signs of dark matter. The oddity didn't draw much attention at first, but eventually a group of prominent particle physicists working in the University of California, Irvine took a closer look and suggested that the Hungarians had stumbled onto a new type of particle, one that implies an entirely new force of nature. Then in 2019, the Hungarian find hits the mainstream, including a story prominently featured on CNN when they released new results suggesting that their signal hadn't gone away. The anomaly persisted even after they changed the parameters of the experiment. They've now seen it pop up. Oh, and now the page has completely disappeared. This information we are reporting on rifts.
They literally took it down while you were reading it.
Dimensional rifts. We're broadcasting it out into the world. Something is happening in the fabric of our cosmos new dimensional, interdimensional, new forces of nature are being discovered as our very reality slowly begins to rip apart. And astronomy.com just crashes.
I don't think it's like some crazy coincidence that it crashed while you were sharing it on the air.
I don't think so either. This is pretty big stuff we talk about here, Stephen.
Could you be being silenced?
People gotta get their opinions out there, to share what they're thinking.
Yeah.
About these particles, but they don't want us discussing it. They want us slaving away at the McDonald's. They don't want us thinking about the new particles. Something is going on, and they are keeping it a secret from us, even as we try to spread the word. Could be a blatant attack from the men in black. Who's to say? My goodness. All right. Well, let's get into it, folks. Let's open up actually, before we do, one thing I do want to address. Our good friend of the show, well, it's open, so if you do want to call in, go ahead and call in. But our good friend of the show, Sarah Cooper from the American Snallygaster Museum, made a pertinent observation the other day on Instagram, and I felt the same vibes coming off. I said, this is so interesting. She said, this new moon is driving everybody crazy, this full moon that is happening right now. So I thought we would look into the dictionary of superstitions to find out what the information about the full moons particularly are. What should we be cautious of right now, especially during this highly volatile full moon? Now, we've got a new caller coming in right now, so be sure to keep watching. When we get back, superstitions about the moon. But first, let us welcome to the show, friend of the show, frequent and past caller, Colin Schulzeberger. Isn't there a writing story from the end of the episode last week? I did not get that in my inbox, but let me double check. Oh, well, I will double check that after we speak to our guest. My goodness, I get so distracted sometimes. It makes me appear as rude. Colin, welcome back to the program.
I know. I haven't seen you guys in a couple weeks.
We have your continued permission to show you on the air.
You do.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
I think that waiver's on file, you know?
There we go.
Oh, that's what I look like.
Whoa, there you are. Welcome to the show, Colin. What would you like to share with us tonight?
Well, we were talking about Mercury being in retrograde, and I didn't really get I heard you talking about it, then your inbox was full or something, and then I lost you there.
I didn't even get a chance to bring this up yet. I've come to this realization as I've noticed Mercury is about to be in retrograde. Mercury is in retrograde, and here I am. I've heard this my whole life. I'm like, well, things will get strange, but I have no clue what that really means. So I don't know if that's what you're calling in for, Colin, or if not. Yeah.
What do you think it is?
I think it means that Mercury is planetarily in the opposite place of where it was, but at what time or where, I have no clue.
And it appears to go in reverse or something. That's what I don't know.
Mercury is spinning backwards right now somehow.
Yeah, that's what I understand too. I don't really get it either, but whenever someone brings it up, I notice things, and I think that's just natural, are happening around me. Today was crazy, and then I read what you put online, and I was like, I need to get on. I need to talk to Cliff. You know,
I think today was the first day of it. Stephen, can you check what the dates for Mercury in retrograde right now? And while Colin tells this story,
Gatorade makes Mercury.
Ooh, yeah.
Used to remember Gatorade Mercury, and it came out like during the first retrograde, which I thought was that was a good marketing scheme. But anyway, I've been having this big argument. I'm in several bands. I play in a lot of bands, and I've had this big argument with one of the bands I'm in, and we can't like seem to see eye to eye, and we've been like really struggling to be cool. So today we were standing outside, like having this kind of like, all right, well, what do we need to do to make our lives better? And this branch from like 30 feet up fell right over top of us, and we all kind of pushed each other out of the way, and it landed on their cars, and it like dented the cars and like scratched the paint on my friend's car, and his car, like the other car, the Volkswagen that my other friend had, is like bent inward from the branch. So I was like, oh my God, like, do I have to pay for this? Because this is on my property. And I felt crazy, but it almost killed us. Like it almost killed 4 people. And we like pushed each other out of the way, and then we were all fighting. So we all started hugging after that and stuff. And we're like, we love each other. We kept saying how much we loved each other. Like, I love you so much. I'm so sorry. Like, it was so weird. Goodness. But it was Mercury in retrograde.
That's like
the first thing I thought.
That feels like a cosmic warning shot across the bow.
We couldn't even like look each other in the eyes. And then this happened. And then we were like, all of a sudden, like buddies again. Or you know what I mean? It was crazy. I had to share it because it happened like less than 2 hours ago.
Exactly. These things are happening every day. You've just got to open your eyes to it.
I'm wondering if it has to do with Mercury being in retrograde, or that there's like this being, like intelligent being that's like zap, you know, like he's controlled. He controls
right above you.
Yeah. Yes. Because there's a 1 in 43,000 chance that will happen to you. You'll die from a tree falling on you. So,
let alone while you and your band are on the verge of breaking up.
Exactly. Yeah. It was pretty awesome.
It brings you back together. This is like when Paul McCartney was killed in that car crash, and they all came together with the fake one.
Wait, what? There's 2 Paul McCartneys?
Well, there's one, but then he died, and they made another.
Wait, when did that happen? Yesterday.
Before. There you go. Good. Great. Punchline. I love it. I was going to say before Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah. Yes. Oh man. I was trying to get another like Beatles pun in there, but anyway, that was my crazy story that happened today, and I had like a come to Jesus moment, or a come to Mercury's in retrograde moment, where I was like, this is crazy that 4 of us, we all were like, there's something falling. Like it was that serious. And then we pushed each other out of the way and like saved each other's lives. And then we were all like, we love you. I love you so much. Like we knew things were hard lately. It was just because, you know, we've been stuck inside during a pandemic, and like now we're trying to see each other, and things are weird. Like people don't know how to socialize anymore. So we just we just fight and then hug.
I'm so happy to hear that you found this refreshment and this renewal from, I mean, the essence of that is you really don't wish harm amongst your other bandmates, and seeing that literally play out brought you all back together. I have to say, I was told to look up the dates of Mercury being in retrograde. The dates are May 29th to June 22nd. So we're actually not quite there yet.
I'm in regular Mercury right now.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not an astrologist. I don't know that much about it. I just
play one on TV.
Just read online the first article I've ever read about Mercury being in retrograde. So I'm no expert, but from what I'm gathering from this article, Mercury being in retrograde, it's a period associated with confusion, delay, and frustration, as all things related to communication and transmission are thrown off balance. So, if you actually did not have this moment before Mercury being in retrograde 2 days from now, I feel like your band would have completely fallen apart. You would have had terrible communication right before, you know what I mean? So, like, you actually were able to find this uplifting moment before Mercury being in retrograde, which might have upset things.
And I would say this is also right in the midst of an insane full moon. Just yesterday we had that lunar eclipse. I don't know if it happened. I don't think it happened over where we are, but there was a lunar eclipse yesterday.
I think it was in California. I think it was like a western, maybe seaboard. I don't know if I'm right with that.
I have seen it on TikTok. They're saying the vibes are so powerful from the moon that you should not soak your crystals to make moon water during this full moon. It's too powerful. So there's definitely cosmic forces at work here, Colin, whether we're in Mercury in retrograde or not. I think this full moon's going to carry us right into something wild.
I know. What do you think it is? Do you think it's like, I mean, because every time Mercury's in retrograde, though, I'm always like expecting like, something huge, and I think in my mind, like something huge is like bomb drop or like, fire and like a forest, but I don't know. Locusts. Oh, cicadas.
Cicadas for sure. I'm also just realizing too, Stephen, what was the end date on that?
The end date is the 22nd of June.
Okay, so we're following right up to the deadline of when this UFO report is supposed to come out.
Whoa, when's the report?
So the report they were given, I think, I'm not sure the exact amount of days, but it was from the end of December till now, and I believe the final date was June 25th. But I also saw, according to the 60 Minutes report, it sounded like they said June, like the beginning of June. I think I'm right, but 60 Minutes is fairly credible, and they did talk to the people who were doing some of the research. So
one of our fans, Barefoot in 52, made a comment that I want to point out because I think this is the literal definition of retrograde, right? Because
yes, I saw that as well.
Did you read it?
I do want to say too, before we read that, if anybody is astrologically like an expert on it, if you have a lot of knowledge on what that means, you're also welcome to call in and talk to us about it, especially if you from what that means from like an astrology standpoint.
I would like to know this as well.
Yeah.
I second exclamation point call in, and the command will trigger stream elements to prompt you with the Zoom link to join this call. So Barefoot in 52 says, because of the relationship between the planets and their relative position, their different orbits, and the Earth's rotation, there are times when they appear to move across the sky in the wrong direction. That's retrograde. So if you legitimately didn't know that it was just like some weird positional thing and you were seeing a planet going in the wrong direction, like it does seem like everything's like off balance, to be like super confused. I feel like you could intellectually explain it to yourself.
How old is this phenomenon though? Like, I feel like Galileo's the only person who's like, whoa, that planet's going backwards. Like at one point in time, like my one telescope is telling me that's going that way.
Exactly, that's what happened to him. And there was a communication breakdown across all of his friends.
Like everybody, this is why this is happening.
His science band had a falling out because of the planet going the wrong direction.
Don't arrest me for believing this, but it's true. Man, Galileo, look what happened to that guy.
Yeah. Not too great.
Well,
yeah, I don't know. I didn't even check for Mercury in this book to see if there's a specific superstition about it in here, in the ancient text. But Colin, what were you going to say? Well, I see if that's a word.
That was really like, I just wanted to share that incredible story. I wish, I feel like the things I tell you on the show, I don't know why, but I just don't tell anybody. And then this one happened just now, and I've told everybody, which is crazy. Like right when it happened, I was like, I gotta call my mom. Like I just like told everybody. I was like, I'm gonna tell Cliff, because it was the weirdest freaking thing. Like we were so mad, and it was all like it was legitimate reasons, and we all felt like there was kind of like we were talking over each other too much, just communication stuff, which is crazy too. I mean, it's exactly like we're saying, like Galileo discovered this communication barrier because he's the only one with a telescope. Mm-hmm. How do I keep myself out of jail? And he's like, I have an idea. I'll tell everybody that we can't communicate, and the judge will give me like a longer, I'll give you a break before prison.
Yeah.
How did Galileo die? Do you remember? Was he poisoned himself? No, I think it was Socrates. Dude, everyone's poisoning themselves back in like
right.
Galileo's times.
How did Galileo die? On Galileo, you can also call in.
I need to know that. How did Galileo die?
Stephen, can you look that up for us? How did Galileo die?
Yes, I'll look it up, and feel free, anyone in the chat, if you beat me to it, to just throw it in the chat. Maybe we'll find different things.
I learned that when I took CCU's Astronomy Online 101 class with Carly. Well, look at that. If you have a relative taking an online class, borrow their login, get a free education. Hey, listen, I mean that seriously. I mean that sincerely to you, the viewers. If you can share a login for an online education, the way those things are priced, you get it. You go in there and get that knowledge. Even if you don't walk away with a diploma, get that information. There's no reason that knowledge should be behind a paywall.
That's true. Hell yeah. Think it's your library card after that.
I'm seeing in the chat, I'm seeing natural causes. Galileo was an old man and died from like a fever. I'm seeing fever and palpitations.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's about right. How old was an old man in Galileo's times? Like 26, 27? Not too much.
I was always under the impression that back in those times, people lived to be like 400 years old, and then we started getting dying younger until a certain point, and now we're back on the upswing.
Yeah, like Abraham was like 600 years old.
Oh, 70. Here we go in the chat. An old man back in Galileo's time was 77 years old. So it sounds like we've made a lot of progress as a species on extending that life expectancy.
Yeah, I agree. And we're still doing a good job with it. Keep not vaccinating people. I'm just kidding. Don't take that as advice. Do I get to give advice on this channel? Maybe you should, if you're hearing this, please get vaccinated. I believe in it strongly, and I hope you do, everyone. So that's my view.
The sooner you do it, the sooner we can have Strange Times Indeed meetups in the woods.
Yes, and kiss times, kiss parties. That's what I'm looking for.
The first Strange Times Indeed kiss party. We're gonna rock and roll. We're gonna rock and roll all night and party
every day. Yeah, I love Kiss. I was just coming on to say I love Kiss. I'll be at that party.
Yeah, that's great. We put on face paint. I'll be Peter Criss. You can be Gene Simmons. Whoa!
I've got a bass guitar.
That before.
I said to Steven, we're gonna give him some tongue tonight, and it turns out we did totally organically. Look at that.
You're Gene. I guess I'll have to be. Wait, who are you, Colin?
I'm Peter Criss. I think he's the drummer.
You're Peter Criss. Okay, great. And then I'll be Paul.
Peter, Paul, and Chris. I'll be like we all should have British accents.
We need an Ace Frehley.
Let's do it anyway.
We'll be holding auditions.
I feel like artistically, it's more fitting for me to be the star man.
That's what I was thinking, but you did the tongue. I was gonna be Gene, but you did the tongue. And I was like,
Stanley.
do you have to
Paul
be Gene?
Stanley? Yeah.
Yeah, you can be Paul Stanley.
Starman.
I could be Gene Simmons. We just need an Ace Frehley.
Oh, Ace Frehley. No, they don't have accents, but I really like to imagine that they do. It's funnier to me. I'm Ace Frehley. I'm having a hell of a time playing my instrument because I drank one too many.
Oh,
I feel all right. Never mind. This is rock and roll.
Let's Gene Simmons. Let's rock and roll, everybody.
I can't wait till we have that kiss party with Strange Times Indeed. It's going to be great. They're going to dress like us.
Yeah. Everyone's coming to the Strange Times Indeed kiss party happening after the pandemic.
It's a jazz festival.
I'm seeing in the chat from a true blue Kiss fan saying Ace was the star man.
Oh,
Paul Stanley, I think was Cats, which would also be fitting for our producer.
What was Peter Criss?
Paul Stanley had a star in his face, but he was the lover. And then Ace Frehley, he was like a love boy or whatever.
Steven, I always forget that you are an actual like true blue Kiss fan.
Kiss was my first concert when I was like 8 years old. I was like in the 6th row in front of Gene Simmons, having my mind blown. I love it.
It didn't affect your thinking later in life. It was like Gene was like, "All right, kids, are you ready to do some drugs?" And you're like, "Come on, my son's 8." I have a child in the crowd. Why did I bring my kid to this Kiss concert?
What's great is Ted Nugent also opened for the show too.
Oh man,
so
he's like, check.
Yeah.
You got a Ted Nugent and Kiss double feature.
Oh,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
What a lineup!
And
That's pretty monster truck.
Yeah.
so anyways, the Ace Frehley's the space guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Astronaut-esque, but space guy, you know.
They're saying Peter Chris was the cat, so that would be you, Colin.
Peter Chris is
Okay.
the cat. There's a cool. I think my aunt used to be a doctor and actually did met Ace Frehley for like an appointment. She was in Hollywood is where she was working or whatever, or near Hollywood. And so yeah, he's almost an alright guy is the way that I think she described him. But there's a really cool story. One of our followers.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to know his real name. What is this? Glup Onquin Gunic? You say
Yeah, can we just use your real name?
his old drum instructor was the founder of the Kiss Army, which is such a cool story. I heard it in real life.
He was the what?
Founder of the Kiss Army.
The Kiss Army.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Just like the club that's the fan club of Kiss.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have a T-shirt.
Like Ollie's
Kiss
Army.
Yeah.
Are you guys members of the Ollie's Army?
No, not yet.
Yeah, no. Go to Ollie's Bargain Outlet, and they can get yourself a discount card, and it says Ollie's Army.
Perfect.
That's not a joke. That's a real thing.
I believe it.
Yeah. This is guys. This has been the most real. I feel like we went on a tangent, but in reality, I almost died by branch, and I'm happy to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Praise Mercury, or Venus, I guess in this case, pulling it in. But that's really why I called. I actually have to go right now. I didn't think I'd be on here this long, but I love you guys. Every time I get on here, I have a blast. I love the audience. I love the Twitch. I love the gems. Oh, that's the best part about Twitch, y'all, is those gems. I don't even know what they mean, but I have a blast of them. So I gotta go, guys. But thank you so much for having me, as usual.
Thank you so much. And have an incredible night, Colin. And remember, call in anytime another crazy thing happens to you.
I want to call you for the rest of your life every minute. I'm going to call you.
We're going to do this for the rest of my life, so don't worry.
I'm going to wake you up tomorrow morning, Cliff. Another branch fell, and I need to replace my home.
They're coming.
No, that's not true. I hope that's not true. It's
raining branches.
Yeah,
knock on wood.
I'm knocking on wood right now.
Knock on wood. Okay, good.
Get
out of here.
All right.
All right. Congrats on all the great Met shows that I've been seeing lately, everybody. They're really cool.
Thank you so much, Colin. Well, Colin, thanks for calling in.
Oh, I'm having to make
strange, buddy.
At the same time. Bye.
All right. Wow, incredible. The cosmos are moving at a baffling speed, folks. And wild things are happening as moons shift from full to eclipsed in a night. And we approach the coming of Mercury in retrograde. Trees are falling on local musicians and preventing bands from breaking up. These are truly some strange times indeed, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be finding out what superstitions are specifically tied to the moon when we return from this quick commercial break. Life inside during the pandemic getting you down? Worried that there's nothing you can do to pass the time? No laughs left to be had? All gone crazy? Well, bam! Guess what? Met Comedy Night is coming to Twitch. Heck, it's there right now, and you can join us every week with shows from the Comedy Pigs, Oh Crit, Strange Times Indeed, Over the Hump, and more. That's right, follow us on twitch.tv/MetComedyNight for all the laughter you need. Greetings, terrestrials. Today is May 29th, 2021, and these are some strange times indeed. You're watching Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McAllister. I, of course, am your host, Cliff McAllister, the czar of the bizarre. Every week on this show, we open up our phone lines to stories about the strange and unexplained. We just heard from our friend of the show, Colin, who called in with a story about a bizarre, his band's about to break up, and all of a sudden a tree limb crashes right on the verge of Mercury in retrograde. Something cosmically is going on. So in just a minute, we'll be looking in the dictionary of superstitions to learn about superstitions specifically tied to the moon, as we are in a truly, truly volatile full moon right now. But before we do, I do have to say that this show, this program, this broadcast, this one and everyone is dedicated to the Maryland Ensemble Theater, the only theater with the guts to put us on the air. This coming week, Wednesday, June 2nd, at, I believe, 9 o'clock, you can tune in right here for a new summer campaign from Okrit, the D&D improv show. It's Okrit Schools Out Summer Camp, Throwing Dice, Stealing Hearts, an actual play show. They're going to be playing real D&D live on the program. Tune in right here for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Then, coming up this June, live theater is back from the Maryland Ensemble Theater. You won't want to miss Midsummer, A Most Rare Vision, an outdoors immersive celebration of being together. And here it is, inspired entirely, a new original piece inspired by William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. So be sure to get your tickets to that at marylandensemble.org/midsummer. That's happening at Thorpewood, a retreat center up in Thurmont, or a wedding venue or something, a nice place in Thurmont. So be sure to check that out. It's not happening at the Maryland Ensemble Theater because that's an indoor venue. Look, there's the information right there. Right there. Check that out. Check it out. Theater is coming back. If you're unvaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. No, if you were vaccinated, gosh, screwed up the worst one, didn't I? If you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. If you're unvaccinated, I'm never coming to your house for Thanksgiving again. All right, okay. Here we go. Coming up, my friends. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about the moon. Let's talk about these superstitions. And of course, if you know astrology, if you've got a good grasp on what is really happening when we say Mercury's in retrograde and what that means beyond just what's happening in the stars, call in and explain that to us. Our friend Sleeping Zebra, if you're watching, I haven't seen you in the chat, but we never got that email from you, I don't think, with your strange story. Now let me double check, because some stories are so strange, I wouldn't be surprised if the Google filter sent those things into the banished box without even giving me a chance to look at it. So I do want to uphold my promise to read that if we did get that in. But if we didn't, there we go. Not all inboxes. Thank you. Okay. Checking the mail. Nothing in spam. Okay. All right. Well, I did not get that email. So Sleeping Zebra or anybody who has a story they may like to share off the air, you can go ahead and send that in at strangetipsindeed@gmail.com. That's our tip line, our tip email, strangetipsindeed. You can get that right there up on the screen. You folks can write it down. Strange tips indeed. Send us your anonymous things there. And let's look at superstitions about the moon. As might be expected, the moon occupies a prominent place in the superstitions of the entire Western world. While the sun represents the life essence and the more positive aspects of existence, the sun, ruler of the tides and other elemental forces, is generally taken to symbolize darker, more mysterious, and often negative influences. The reverence that ancient moon worshippers felt for the moon is reflected in the mixed feelings that most people still have for the Earth's nearest neighbor in space, even in an age when science has revealed much about the moon's real nature. Perhaps the oldest and widest known superstition connected to the moon is that those who gaze too long at the full moon risk becoming a lunatic. that is, mad, and will henceforth be subject to attacks of insanity whenever the moon is full. Moon's disorienting nature and disorienting influence is also to be seen in the erratic behavior of animals at certain times in the lunar cycle and may be linked accordingly to many authorities with the human female menstrual cycle. Primitive awe of the moon and its strange wonders has never quite died away, and it continues to be treated by the more superstitious with the utmost respect. In various ancient cultures, for instance, young girls were in particular were warned against sleeping in the moonlight lest they become moonstruck and beget monsters. And even today, children may be instructed to chant, "I see the moon and the moon sees me. God bless the moon and God bless me," to ward off ill luck should moonlight come into their room. To be on the safe side, many adults will greet the new moon with a respectful bow or curtsy, in which case they believe they will be granted a wish. Witches and other sorcerers, meanwhile, have long been credited with the power to draw down the moon, attracting its malevolent power to use for their own nefarious ends. Many ancient calendars depend on the lunar phases, and there have been many attempts to determine from the moon's cycle the optimum times to begin various enterprises. Broadly speaking, the waxing of a new moon is a time when lovers may divine what the future has in store for them, when new projects may be safely begun, and when journeys may be best undertaken. Farmers, despite any real evidence to support them, will choose if possible to do their planting and sowing when the moon is waxing. Though such plants as runner beans, which grow anti-clockwise, are sown on the wane. Oh, there you go. And this is the best time for weddings and childbirth and conclavence. Livestock slaughtered when the moon is waxing will give better meat. Bowing to the new moon and turning over any silver coins in one's pocket will guarantee a doubling in amount by the end of the next cycle. If in company, the first person to see the new moon should kiss one of his or her companions without delay. They may then expect a gift in the near future. It is important, however, that the new moon should not be seen for the first time through glass. Spectacles accepted, or through the branches of a tree, as this is a bad omen. Similarly, if it is first seen on the left side of the observer, ideally, it should be sighted in the open air via a glance over the right shoulder, in which case a wish may be made. So if you should see the moon for the first time, being able to give it a little glance over the right shoulder, you get a wish. There we go. Some other notes here. Werewolves come out when the moon is full. That's right. Is that a crypto hint? Doge. Folks are saying. Folks are going off in the chat. It is highly inadvisable to be caught pointing at a new moon, as this offends the man in the moon, an obscure mythical figure allegedly banished to the moon for gathering sticks on the Sabbath, and is an invitation for dire misfortune. If done 9 times, the person concerned will be barred from entry into heaven. Moreover, no one should consent to surgery when the moon is full, and any death that occurs during a new moon will be followed by 3 further mortalities. There is general agreement, however, that no person can actually die while the moon is rising. You hear that? General agreement. If the moon is rising, you're not truly dead. Gonna do these moon taboos and see what happens. Prince of Boxes, report back to us. Lovers are advised that the first new moon of the year, if approached in the right way, may reward them with visions of future partners. Generally speaking, the moon must be addressed with respect, and the following rhyme or variation of it is recited. All hail to thee, moon, all hail to thee. I prithee, kind moon, reveal to me him/her who is my life partner to be. If all goes well, the lover will see his or her, their future partner in their dreams. You use there, they use there in the text the second time. Or may even wake to find a single hair from the other heads tucked in between the big toe and its neighbor. The number of, hold on, let's go back. Let's read that part again. Okay, so after you recite the rhyme to the moon, I had to go back to the big toe thing. Let's figure that out. If all goes well, after you recite that rhyme to the moon, the lover will see their future partner in their dreams, or may even wake to find a single hair from the other person's head tucked between their big toe and its neighbor. The number of moons a lover sees when gazing at the moon through a new silk handkerchief, or when examining their reflections in water or in a mirror, indicates how many years or months must pass before their marriage. Can you send the moon feet pics? There's got to be a way to do it. There's got to be some kind of like send a message to the moon website. And if there isn't, we'll build it. We will devise a way to send messages to the moon. I think this may be more pertinent now than ever, so somebody's got to figure it out. All right, let's see. There's a lot of information here, folks, so we can keep going. Like I said, Stephen, go ahead and put the call in the chat. If anyone knows, if anyone is astrologically inclined to explain Mercury and retrograde to us, feel free to call in. The waning moon exerts a generally baneful influence and is particularly bad time for births and weddings. Anything cut in this period will not grow again, including the hair and fingernails, though it is apparently a good time to move house, let blood, pick fruit, cut down trees, and stuff feather mattresses. Worst of all is the period between cycles, when there is no moon at all. Children born during this time will come to nothing, and an ancient English proverb warns, no moon, no man. The period immediately following a new moon is the most significant. One ancient English tradition advised on the character of each of the 10 days immediately following. All right, these are the 10 days. Here we go. All right, folks. Top 10 days following a new moon. Day number 1, ideal for births and new projects, but bad for those who fall ill. Day number 2, ideal for business matters, sea voyages, and sowing seeds. Day number 3, an inauspicious day for most undertakings. Day number 4, ideal for construction projects and for birth of politicians. Probably no day is really ideal for that. Day 5, ideal for the conception and the model for the month's weather. All right. Day 6, ideal for hunting and fishing. Day 7, the most propitious day for new lovers to meet. Oh, all right. Day 7 after a new moon. Great day to meet a new lover. Day 8, the worst day to fall ill, as the illness may prove fatal. 8 days after a new moon. Do not fall ill, as best as you can avoid it. Day number 9, a day to avoid moonlight on the face, lest insanity follow. And day number 10, a day for the birth of restless souls. Should 2 new lunar months fall within the same calendar month, extremely bad weather is sure to follow and may extend to flooding and other natural catastrophes. If this happens in May, it will rain for a year and a day. Other weather predictions connected with the lunar cycle include the notion that new moons that fall at the weekend will be followed by bad luck and foul weather. And if the horns of a new moon point upwards, good weather is in the offing. But if they point down, it will be wet. A halo around the moon at any time in the cycle is a warning of rain to come. A full moon that falls on Christmas Day, meanwhile, is lamented by farmers as a prophecy of a poor harvest in a year ahead. In folk medicine, a superstition from the north of England recommends blowing on one's warts in light of the full moon to cure them, while many regions boast of tradition of washing hands affected by warts in a shiny metal basin full of the moon's rays while reciting, I wash my hands in this thy dish. O man in the moon, do grant my wish, and come and take this away. There you go. Oh, see also eclipse. There might be information about a lunar eclipse in there, which just happened last night. So we will start heading that way, folks. But as I am on that way, if you're watching the show tonight, I do want to give a shout out to our friend of the show, Bigfoot Society over on Instagram. Let me make sure I get his name right. Our good friend has invited me to speak to his Patreon subscribers in a Zoom call. So I'm very excited to do that. Jeremiah Byron, he runs Bigfoot Society over on Instagram. So I'm going to be talking to them over the weekend. Just his Patreon supporters. If you want to support him on Patreon, you can look up Bigfoot Society. But he's also raising money on his Etsy. He's got some cool stickers. I just ordered some myself. But he's trying to get to the Van Meter Festival over in Iowa. So if you feel like supporting this man's venture out into the wilderness and into the bazaar, go ahead and support his Etsy. Get yourself a nice Bigfoot sticker or a t-shirt. Let's see, eclipse. We're skimming it for lunar eclipse. Eclipse is a lot shorter. All right, nothing specific about a lunar eclipse in there. Just the eclipse as it relates to the eclipse in front of the sun. So there we go. Well, that seems as good a time as any, folks. After all, I just talked about somebody else's. I can't forget to talk about our own, this Strange Times Indeed Patreon. We revealed it last week. If you've been loving this show, this is a great chance to get behind the scenes content and to become a member of Cliff McAllister's Strange Times Society for Seekers of the Bizarre. There's 3 levels of membership, and you can check them out at patreon.com/Strange Times Indeed. In fact, let's pull them up right now, just so you know what you're getting if you sign up. If you sign up, we've got a few members already, and we'll be thanking them in just a minute. So great to have them calling in. Let's go. Let's get these tiers up. Let's view this page like I'm not somebody who runs it. There we go. Okay. 3 different membership levels here on Patreon. You can join us. You can support our show, help us grow. It helps us fund our research here at Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McAllister. That broadcasting out to the moon would not be made possible without your support here on our Patreon, but it also supports Stephen and myself. We are people who do this show for completely free, and so it's nice to get a little something. We got to eat too. We do this all the time. And there's so much fun stuff. Anytime I feel like putting stuff out there, it's up there. I'm having a blast. So go ahead and join us for $3 a month. You can join the Terrestrial Order of Truth Seekers, hang out with Cliff McAllister and other Strange Times Society members in our Patreon exclusive Discord channel and get access to bonus digital content, including behind the scenes audio recordings and society exclusive transmissions from the Czar of the Bizarre himself. I'll also say, if you've ever, this is something I do want to say too, because money isn't everything, let's be real. If you've ever called into this show, you can also get access to the Strange Times Indeed Discord. Just send me a message on Instagram and I will get that situated for you. So if you've ever called in or you can support us on Patreon, you can join us on the Discord there. It's going to be a lot of fun. For $9 a month, you can join the inner circle of card-carrying weirdos. Welcome to a higher level of the Strange Time Society. As a thank you for your monetary allegiance to the unexplained, a membership card will be sent to you with a welcome letter from Cliff McAllister himself. Plus, you can take part in super secret monthly video chats with Cliff and fellow members in the inner circles of card-carrying weirdos Discord. A secret level of the Discord just for people who pay $9 a month. And now for folks who pay $25 a month, you join the Directors League. There's our director right there. At last, a level of patronage for those who wish to commune with the unknown. Backers at this level will receive a physical piece of art, a zine, an original postcard, something like that, made by our producer or myself. Plus, backers in the Director's Lodge get to select one movie for me to stream on Instagram Live. We'll all hop on Instagram Live. You get to pick a movie. We do this maybe once a month or so, but I've been picking the movies the whole time. And at $25 a month, you get to pick one of the movies that we watch, and I will work with you to collaborate scheduling to make sure that you're able to watch it as well. I'm just that considerate. And then, once a month, you can also submit a 2-sentence cryptic message for our own director to read out during the broadcast and to be broadcast out on our social media channels. Now, this is a two-sentence cryptic message. Don't try to force an advertisement in there or something, or maybe do. I don't know. We'll see how we're vibing with it. You submit whatever. 2 cryptic sentences. If you can make a cryptic commercial, let that be your challenge to self-promote. I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now. So you can go ahead and support us there. Strange Times Indeed. That's patreon.com/Strange Times Indeed. I want to give a special shout out right now to our backers. Our backers, yes, that's right. The pronunciation for your name was in the chat just earlier. Glupaquin. Glupaquin, I don't know if you look, stop me before I say your name. Let's go ahead and give a special thanks to our Patreon backers joining us from the Terrestrial Order of Truth Seekers. We've got Matthew Harris, and we've got M. Perper. All right, okay, and then moving on up to our inner circle of card-carrying weirdos, we've got our good friends, Forest Ranger Steve, and let's just go for the sake of it, because I don't have name clearance, but he spelled it out in the chat earlier, Glupaquin. All those folks, you can find them on the Patreon page. You can find them on Discord. We're all hanging out. We're having fun. Well, super thank you to those of you who are joining. Glupaquin, I have a graphic at the end of this that has your name in it. So you've got 5 minutes to stop me. Next week on the show, we're gonna be looking into this unless something crazy happens, which you never know the way things are going. Next week, we're gonna be looking into Brood X. We're gonna get everything we need to know about these 17-year cicadas. With a name like Brood X, how can you go wrong? These sexy little bugs are coming out of the ground, and they're coming out of the ground for one thing, and then they're gonna die. Hey, did you know that in our Strange Times Indeed Discord, let me tell you about some of the channels we have in there, because it's a great place to hang out and chat with me, Cliff McAllister, the Czar of the Bizarre. Our producer Kevin Cole's on there as well. Steven is on there. We're all having all kinds of fun. There's a rules channel. There's a channel where we'll post alerts for the show and events. Here we go, right here, just at any level, at any backing level. Here's some of the items you get for just $3. You can hang out with me and any other group member in Cliff's Clubhouse. We've got a Cryptid Corner. This is the start of the Cryptid Corner channel. Have you sighted a creature you can't explain? Bigfoot, Mothman, Snallygaster, and an untold amount of mysterious beings populate this planet. Discuss sightings, share images, and more in this channel devoted to discussing all things cryptozoological. We've got a seance circle, folks. Have you communicated with spirits? Are you being troubled by poltergeist activity? Join the Strange Time Society members for an in-depth discussion of spectral beings commonly known as ghosts. Please save all speculation about the afterlife for our Afterlife channel. Hey, let's take a look at the Afterlife channel. Here we go. If you died right now, what then? I don't know the answer to this question, and neither do you, but we can talk out of our asses about it for as long as you want. We've got an extraterrestrial terrarium, a place to discuss all sightings that may pertain to life beyond our planet. And we've got a nice little channel called Blair Kitsch. Consider this channel your Pinterest board. Someone once described our show's vibe as Blair Kitsch. And I said, that's so fitting. So we've got a special channel there. If you have any objects that you think or outfits or anything that might fit that description, that's a place to do it. I'll put a channel up for pet pics as well. And we've even got one here because folks are, of course, supporting our show, getting access to this. We've got a channel called the Rosewater Foundation where anybody who is in our community, if you're having trouble and you've got a GoFundMe out there, because let's face it, we are just like in a society that doesn't know how to take care of other people, and it's systemically designed that way, and that's pretty messed up. But we are going to do what little we can, and so we've got a channel right here. This is right here on the top Greetings channel, where anybody who may need to post a GoFundMe or something like that, you can post that there and get that info out to the Strange Times community, where we watch out for each other, because why shouldn't we? So be sure to check that out. And like I said, money is an imaginary concept to begin with. If you've ever called into our show, shoot me a message if you want to join the Discord, but you're not up for the Patreon payments. That's totally understandable. Feel free to shoot me a message. Say, hey, I'd really like to join the Discord at least. And I think we can make that happen. But please consider doing it through the Patreon. Nice to have that little extra bit of support, especially because, you know, these books aren't free. This book was a gift, so this one was. The other books that we've read on the show, even Invisible Residence, I paid for that one. I'm pretty sure. But Sparky, if you're watching and I'm lying, please let me know. Stephen Craig, wow, you've been subscribing for 10 months in a row to Met Comedy Night. Wow. You must, and I tell you, my friend, you must love things here on Met Comedy Night.
I love it here.
What other things are happening? We talked about this a little bit half hour ago. What's happening in, I don't know, a little less than a week?
Big news. Crit is going to do a summer campaign.
Wow. It's like real Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, like it's every other Wednesday. It's not on a Friday night. It's like a casual, like hangout, play the game, but you're watching it. You're listening in, you're watching it, checking it out as it happens. And there's going to be like character development from show to show instead of just getting a new character each show. But I think there's also like, you know, like because you know, each show there's like a different like one-off, but with the same characters, and it's going to be wild. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be Wednesday at 9:00, June 2nd.
And of course too, because this is a series. It's one where, you know, you can tune in every week, but these characters are going to be going on an ongoing adventure. We will be posting episodes as we do with this show and all our other programming on the Met Comedy Night YouTube channel. So we'll be sure to have a tight turnaround for those. So if you've missed the live stream, you can always watch it back here on Twitch for I think 2 weeks before the next one happens. So you got that much time to watch it on our Twitch channel, but we'll also have it archived on the Met Comedy Night YouTube channel. So be sure to follow us there. That's completely free. It doesn't cost a thing. And you get all this great content. You get Strange Times Indeed. You get Crit. You get the Comedy Pigs. You get us all there. Folks are saying that sounds rad. Folks are excited.
I got to find the title for this too, because it is a longer title and it's extravagant.
I've got it right here. It's Crit. School's out. Summer camp. Throwing dice. Stealing hearts. Be sure to check that out.
So much packed into that title. There's going to be a lot packed into this summer campaign, I'm sure.
It's going to be so much fun, so you got to tune in. Check that out. All right. Well, everyone who's joined in the chat, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thanks so much for joining the fun. If you backed us on Patreon, I can't thank you enough. It means the world to me that you think this is worth something. Thank you so much, Stephen, for running the show. You are a wizard every week. Thank you, Colin, for calling in your incredible story of bizarre happenings right before Mercury enters retrograde and right on the heel of a lunar eclipse. Wowee zowie, there are some strange vibes going out there. But we'll be back no matter what happens in the coming weeks as Mercury enters retrograde. We'll be right here. Thursdays, 9:00, Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McAllister. Until then, I've been your host, Cliff McAllister, the Czar of the Bizarre. Stay strange, terrestrials. Greetings, Barrett Bunny. Cliff McAllister here, the Czar of the Bizarre. I've just been reading up about how you should not put your hats on the bed. In David Pickering's Dictionary of Superstitions, it says, straight from the text, hats must never be laid down on beds or tables, as it invites extreme bad luck. especially in sporting circles.